Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Probate Data Power Gym.
Good morning.
Good morning, Clara. Good morning, Minerva, Brian,
Good
Tiffany.
morning.
Good morning, Lori,
Good
Magda.
morning.
Good morning,
Good
Magda. Good morning,
morning.
Linda, John King. Everyone's here today. That's so great. All right, everyone's coming in. Good stuff. Let's see. What should we cover today? So I thought today what we'll do is we'll spend about 15 minutes on like general questions in terms of probate real estate, and then we'll do 15, 20 minutes just on probate data itself. And doesn't mean that they're going to be all separated and nicely isolated. They could be a bit of a hybrid. That's okay too. But here's what I thought we'd do to get things started. You know, one of the things that we always learn from people like Brad and also from Mike, but Brad's favorite question when he talks to, you know, when he calls on by the way, is my audio okay? You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good. Yeah, okay, good. One of his favorite questions is when he's talking to a PR is always, hey, not he doesn't say hey. He gets him on the phone and says, I'm just curious, what's your biggest challenge right now? What's your number one challenge right now? And then he gets him to talk, right? And I think it's such a great question to ask. So my question to you guys right now is, and you can use your chat to do this in the chat. I want you to answer the question, what is your biggest challenge right now in probate real estate? What is your number one challenge right now? And my logic here is that if we get a few people willing to share their biggest challenge, then we'll all learn together what some of the challenges are, and then we'll all pitch in together how we can resolve these challenges. So we'll do a little bit of group learning, and then we'll switch gears. Like if someone says that my biggest challenge is, I don't know what the hell probate data is, I just signed up. Great, that's a good big challenge. We'll get into that. If someone says, I don't know how to find phone numbers, okay, we'll get into that. If someone says, I don't know what to say on the phone, we'll get into that. So think about what your biggest challenge is, your number one challenge right now when it comes to probate real estate, and we'll tackle this as a team. Hey, Bob Depew, I like your background. Very nice. I dig it. So go ahead and put in the chat what your biggest challenge is. Oh, there's some chat already. Can we watch this on Facebook CPRES community? Linda saying confidence. Claire saying getting hold of petitioners. Laura saying compartmentalize my time when I'm also showing properties and writing offers. These are great challenges. I love all of these. Let's let everybody in here again. All right, so let me just go through this. Lori is asking, can we watch this on Facebook CPRES community? Lori, do you mean like watching this like a replay?
No, live. I was wondering if I could, because I have to leave at 9:30, so I wanted to switch to my Facebook and listen to it on my headset.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't do that. We're an exclusive club here.
Do you have Zoom on? Do you have Zoom on your phone? Because you can listen to it there too.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a
I
good
can do
idea.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, Lori, life is good for you. If this is your biggest challenge, well, yeah, life is good.
We'll have that one too.
Anybody want to switch with Lori with their biggest challenge and take on hers instead? All right. Linda is saying confidence. Linda Wells saying confidence. So confidence is something that doesn't just come overnight, right? It just comes from trial and error. And my best approach to building confidence is I have to check in with my intention. Why am I doing what I'm doing? If I'm doing it for the right reasons, if I have the right intention, then I know I got to push through. I got to push through my discomfort, my hesitation. I got to push through my shyness. I'm actually, you know, what's the right word? Like left to my own devices, I'd actually just surround myself with books and dive into and study. And I'm kind of shy in social settings, and I kind of just stick to myself. But if there's something I absolutely have to do, and my intention is correct, and I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, then I just got to push through my shyness and my timidness, and I'll do it, right? Same thing goes for confidence when you're picking up the phone to talk to people. Be, like I always say, be mission driven, not commission driven. So if you're mission driven, that means, why are you in this business? Why are you in real estate? Why did you choose probate real estate? There must be something here that connects you to this thing, where you just simply says, you know, for most people that succeed in probate real estate, for most people that have been with us for 7, 8, 10 years, they're the ones that just love the relationship building. They love the challenge of not only helping people get there from here, but they also love the reward that comes after that. So Linda, when it comes to confidence, I would suggest and challenge you to think beyond your own discomfort, beyond what you think is what you're capable of. And also remember, this isn't about you. This is really not about you. You might be feeling the discomfort. You might feel the lack of the confidence. You might feel the insecurity, but really that's just you experiencing something that's happening outside of you, right? And no one's causing that other than your interpretation of what's going on in the world. So going back to confidence, you just have to act as if, and you got to fail a few times. But the people that succeed are not the ones that don't fail. They're the ones that fail and they get up again. I think it was Roosevelt that wrote this beautiful prose or poem about the man in the arena, you know, facing down with sand in his face. And then does he decide, or in this case, does the man or woman, do you decide to get up again with sand in your face and try again, right? So the ones that succeed, the ones that keep going forward are the ones that actually get up over and over again. So Linda, the only thing between you and helping people is you. And it's your insecurities that come from who knows where. But now is not a time to go back and like reverse engineer it, go into therapy. Why am I insecure? Why don't I get confidence? Just act as if you have it, number one. Number two, connect with the reason why you're in this business. Connect with the reason why you got into this to begin with, and you'll find something that'll push you through that initial discomfort. So that's for Linda. If you have any follow-up questions on that, feel free to put that in the chat or just unmute yourself. Does anyone have any other tips for, yeah, you're welcome. Does anyone else have any tips for Linda on confidence? Like, what do you do if you're lacking confidence? Does anyone have any tips?
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah, it's a bit like saying you gotta, you know, you gotta just put it out there. You know, I'll give you a quick story from my own personal life the last few months. You know, my wife is from Paris, and we recently moved to Paris like 3.5 months ago. And we got like an Airbnb thing for a while, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna see how we like it. And we felt like a little unsure of ourselves. And then we finally said, okay, you know what? We got to act as if we're actually going to be here for the long run. So we went out and we bought a car, and we rented another place, and we bought appliances. We're buying furniture. We're like acting as if like this is for the long run, right? And lo and behold, as we start doing that, we start feeling more confident in our decision. So like what Bob is saying is fake it till you make it, act as if, and connect with the reason why you got into this thing. All right. Clara's saying getting hold of petitioners. So getting hold of petition, if that's your problem, my recommendation is basically what Brad would say in this situation: rotate it, right? So if you have notes on the people you're calling, like I've been calling every Tuesday at 2 o'clock and no one's ever picking up, or they don't want to talk, then you switch it up. You try in the evening, you try a different day of the week, or you try on a weekend, or you try door knock. You move it around. You don't just stick to one method. And getting hold of petitioners is challenging. I get it. But also align with your expectations. Are your expectations, realistic? Like Deborah, not Deborah Blue, Deborah Riley. Like she'll be the first one to tell you. I keep going back to her example, saying, she sent out a bunch of postcards. Someone called her back. She said, "Oh, I just got your postcard." And Deborah's looking at her notes. She's like, "Yeah, I sent you 13 of them." So so that contact doesn't happen right off the bat. You got to just keep at it. It's a numbers game. Unfortunately, the position that you're in is that you have to keep pushing to make the contact. It's not going to come to you that easily, right? Yeah. So I would rotate the days. You realize you have to use multiple methods of reaching them. Maybe change up your phone numbers. There's Google Voice, there's your cell phone, there's an office line. You can block your phone number. That's 4 different ways to reach out and call them right there. You can even sign up for an additional phone number. So you can try those things out and then rotate those days around. Does that help, Clara?
Yes, it does. Yeah, and I actually, I have, there is one particular petitioner who, as soon as you call, she'll say, that she will answer the email. And she gives her email address, although I already have it in the paper, in my document. So since she did not answer my email, then I went ahead and sent her a letter referring to the email that I had sent her. So I'm waiting,
Yeah. Have you tried text messages?
It's not a cell phone. It's apparently, apparently it's a landline. because
Okay.
when I try to leave, verify to leave the message, nothing happens. So I imagine it's a home landline.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I would try. So letters is good. Can you door knock? Is she in the area?
No, and she is in Los Angeles, and I'm
Yeah.
in the north of LA. But no, we're not allowed to knock to door knock. Now, I just got some door hangers, and I mean, I don't have to door knock. I can leave. If anything, I could stop by and stick it on the door. I don't have to even
You could
knock.
stick a note on the door, a sticky note, something, and just leave there. So look, I'm trying to reach you. This is really important that we talk. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and just find new novel ways. Not every petition is going to be like this.
right,
Some of them are going to be more challenging than others. Yeah.
right. Right.
All right, Claire. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing this with us. Yeah, absolutely. Lori Donahue, compartmentalizing my time when I'm also showing properties and writing offers. So here's a challenge with time is that we can't manage it. We can't optimize it. It just keeps running forward whether we want it or not. So how do people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk make out what they make out of the 24 hours that you and I also have? We have the same asset they have. They just seem to figure out how to get more out of it, right? So I would say when it comes to compartmentalizing time, that the best way I can think of it is this. You got to look at how you expend and invest your time, not your time, your energy and your focus. And the best way, and when I realize I'm going off the rails and I'm all over the place and it's just everything's kind of meshing into each other, I use this method called block and tackle. So I'll look at my week and I look at my things that I want to achieve in any given quarter, and I try to break it down into months and weeks. And then my problem has always been, and also I've coached a lot of people on this, when people feel like there's not enough compartmentalizing or not enough time in the day, it's because they're not really clear on why they're doing what they're doing. So you guys have experienced this: while you're working, you think about vacation, and while you're on vacation, you think about work, right? Or when you're with someone that you really want to be with, you're thinking about the next thing you got to do at work, or while you're at work, you really miss being with that someone. So what that tells us is just that there's no clear understanding and agreement between you and time and how you're going to get the most out of it. So when you block and tackle, let's say, for example, on Monday, I'm going to block out 2 hours just to make phone calls, or on Tuesday, I'm just going to block out this much time to show houses, or if I'm going to, I'm going to block and tackle a specific problem that I'm working on. Now, I get the thing with showing houses, you're kind of, hopefully not too dependent on your clients and prospects schedule. But if you say, you know what, I only show homes on these 2 days, and if you really want to see a home, I need to know that you're a really serious buyer. Because the challenge with working with buyers is they're not loyal. They can go with whoever, right? They can buy from you, they can buy from Lori, they can buy from Clara, they can buy from Deepak, from Bob. It doesn't matter to them. It's just homes. They just want to buy a home, right? So that's if you start going out and showing homes all the time based on buyers, then you really are not blocking your time. You're not honoring your time and your goals. So I would say, instead of compartmentalizing, I would say be really clear in what it is that you want to achieve. And for those of you that are participating in the 8-week challenge on the Tuesday calls, at the end of the 8 weeks, we do this reverse engineering calculator that I have that tells you, okay, if this is your income goal, then this is how many calls, this is how many door knocks, this is how many listings, this is how many everything you need to do. And it gives you a 12-month plan on how to achieve that. And every time I've given this to an agent, I check in with them at 3, 6, 9, 12 months. They're usually on or above what the plan that they set in terms of income. So compartmentalizing, the need to compartmentalize just tells me that you're not fully honest and clear with what your priorities are and why you're doing what you're doing. And you might have other people's agenda sucking out your time, especially if you're showing properties to buyers. Clara, go ahead.
I have a suggestion, which is I have a coach in the office, and I've had the same situation. I have the same problem trying to stick to a certain thing. So what he's done is every week he asks me for the copy of my calendar for that week. And actually he asked me to set up lead generation time, checking MLS administrative work like mailings or whatever. appointment set, appointment, where I'm going to appointment, so that I can stick to that time every time. He's trying to get me used to a certain, it doesn't mean that that you're not going to change it at some time if you have to, but at least you know that at a certain time you're going to be doing nothing but this, and nothing will distract you. And if you have appointments for your clients, if that's what you have the most, great, you assign the time. And like you said, you just tell your client, I have another appointment at this time, can we do it at this time? So you
Yeah.
can go ahead and set it that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. It also creates some accountability.
Yeah, it's like it's like a 66-day challenge or something like that.
Yeah, got it.
Well,
Bob,
you must be at Keller Williams.
Yes, I am.
I just did 2.5 years there and left. Yeah, I do time blocking. So I have an hour period on Monday morning that I do all my social media. I've been trying to time block, the Tuesday thing, but I usually get so busy it's difficult to get it. So I have a chance to sell a house or sit with you guys for an hour. Guess what? That's why you haven't seen me.
yeah.
I've been, I don't know how many of you guys are in California, but here in California, I serve an area that's called Laguna Woods, and we're extremely busy in there. And
Yeah.
it's very difficult to sell in there. We're not busy like you guys are out there. I'm not getting 15 offers on every listing I put up. But it's a micro economy in there. It's completely different than outside.
Yeah.
And but we're still, I'm at the agency. It's the #1 agency for that marketplace, and I'm just slammed. Got three in escrow. Put one in yesterday. Got 2 listings. It's just very, very busy. Well, I have to be. I mean, the average sales prices there is about 330. So
yeah, well, the demand and the supply is terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, the demand is good, but the supply is not there.
Well, I've got good supply. It's only the shape of my supply is weird, but we got a lot of our condos are all the 3-story buildings, and nobody wants those because you have to share laundry, and nobody wants to share laundry in the time of COVID,
Yeah.
But my biggest challenge has been with the letter writing.
Yeah, I see that. You're actually next in the queue here. I see.
So,
yeah, I see it.
So what I did is I contracted with a ghostwriter, and she sold to me an entire package of letters that she has written for probate sales and scripts and all sorts of stuff. I got the stuff I got from you guys initially 2 years ago when I took the training.
How'd you find this ghostwriter?
I don't remember how I found her. She's called the MLS writer, and she typically writes MLS stuff. So I had called her and talked to her about probate stuff, and she said that that she had recently just finished a package, and I think it was like, I don't know, $114 or something, but I got like 20 letters, and yeah. I mean,
And are they working out for you?
Pardon me?
Are they working out for you?
Well, again, my time, it's all about time blocking for me. And here, I want to share my screen real quick so I can show you
Go ahead.
the list of letters that I'm disabled from sharing.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. How do we do that? I can make you a co-host for a minute, and you can share your screen.
There you go. Okay, so you'll be able to see here that let me just do a date. So all these ones that are dated 11/5, she had written for me. So there's calling scripts, some granny letters, marketing drip letters, sample letters for investors to send out to investors and to realtors. These are for realtors to give to their client. So if your accounts, your clients are investors, you know, they had, let's see, let me just pick one here. I'll show it to you. Can you see the word coming up?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. Can you see the letter?
No.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now you see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is after our conference. These are follow-up letters uh, that that come, and they're pretty well written. And she even tells you where to put your when you do your mail merge, where to put things in.
Yeah.
So I mean that was the solution that I got to uh, my letter, but still it's the time blocking thing. So last week I actually got to send out about 40 letters,
Nice.
and
Nice.
but yeah, if you do find a ghostwriter, you know, I'm not the greatest writer in the world, but I am a great plagiarizer. Um, and I'll stop sharing there. And so what I find is, you know, when you find a good idea or a good piece of script or whatever, you copy it and plug it in. So I have that file set up so I can take stuff and drop it in there.
Yeah.
Again, my biggest challenge is time blocking
Well,
for that, because
let me give you a
it takes about
solution.
2 hours. It takes about 2 hours to do that.
Well, your 2 hours is worth more than two others, somebody else, right? So you could find that somebody else to do this writing for you. So you could find someone on Upwork, you could find someone on onlinejobs.ph. You could get a virtual assistant for literally, you can get someone to do all this for you. You know, I'm looking into hiring someone for about $800 a month, 40 hours a week, and very well versed in many different platforms and know how to write and good on the phone. And then the Philippines, they have the technology and all that. So like for someone like you could look at, say, well, I have all this stuff. I have all the pieces. I just don't, you know, I got to block out 2 hours to do this every week. If the blocking of time is a challenge, then the answer to that is, well, then give that to somebody else. You know, in one of our mentorship classes 5 years ago, I taught a whole segment on how to delegate and outsource. And I could show how agents could get about 20 hours back in their week. And if they could get those 20 hours back in the week, what would they do with it? And I can tell you, like 9 out of 10 agents basically said, spend more time with family, spend more time with kids, spend more time with my wife or husband or whatever. No one said like, I want to do more work. Everyone said, well, someone could just take 20 hours of my workload off, I could exhale and spend more time with family, right? So when it comes to time management and blocking and tackling time, we just saw two different aspects of it. You know, so for example, like Lori saying, I'm out there showing homes and all that, and then also Bob saying, well, I have all these letters and I have the leads. I just don't want to. I got to spend like 2 hours sending out 40 letters. Maybe that's not the best use of my time. So I would challenge you, Bob, by next week, go find someone that can do this for you. If you've gotten a ghostwriter, then go find someone who can actually do the mail merge and send it out for you.
Well, you know, the thing about that is I'm a little freaked out about turning that over to you know, virtual assistant. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still struggling with that. I mean, I know that that's an option to get one of these
Well, let
virtual
me ask you,
assistants to do it. So
what's your hesitation? If you could name it in one word, what's your hesitation?
security.
Security from, like, if you give someone those letters and gave them
You
your
said one
lead.
word. uh, you know, just, you know, my information getting out there. I mean, I don't
Okay.
know. You know, if I give them access to my uh, you know, my top producer to do this stuff, you know, I just don't like. I'm just a little bit of a security freak on that. I don't
Okay.
want my information or anyone to be coming into you know, my data
Yeah.
or access to, you know, because my computer particularly has all my client stuff on it, and I've got that backed up. I have it backed up securely, but
Yeah. Well,
still,
what if you didn't have to give them access to your computer? You just give them access to what they need to do the job.
yeah, that's, you know, part I haven't figured out yet.
Okay.
To be honest, I haven't taken the time to figure it out. I haven't talked to those people.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair
Hey, Bob.
enough. Let's
I-
go. Let's go through the list. Minerva, go ahead, and then we'll go through the list. There's some more questions. I want to make sure we go through all of them. Go ahead, Minerva.
okay, I have top producer as well, and what I do have somebody that I trained to look things up for me and do the letters, and then she emails me the letters, and also when I get the CSV files, I I have her take off some things in there in the file, and then she marks that one as TP for top producer, and then I bring those files into top producer, and it uploads great, even the Zillow, so then I control it. And
Yes.
I could do the letters on top producer, but we started off with downloading the letters, and I tell her what to say. I gave her the sample, what to say, and then she just sends it to me. And if I change anything, I just send her like a template, like for the COVID-19. I have those letters, and I have the follow-up letters and all that. And you can have all of that on Top Producer. The only problem that I'm having right now is I'm still waiting for Top Producer to allow me to use my POP email address. They don't allow that because they use IMAP. So
Okay.
I'm going to do the Outlook now, and then train her how to do the Outlook so that I can send the letters out with Outlook.
So
Yeah,
is this somebody in your office or someone domestic?
Somebody that doesn't have a job and needed money.
Okay.
So I trained her how to look things up, and I only want the ones that have not, that show that they sold before the deceased passed away.
Yeah.
So that's all I get from the filings.
And Minerva, is this someone that's local to your area, or is it someone overseas? I think that's Bob's question.
Local to my area.
Okay, got it. Bob, you might be able to find someone, locally as well. But I get your concerns, Bob. I totally hear you on that, loud and clear. All right, let's go down the list. We got a couple more here. So John King is saying the duration between follow-up calls when not confirmed on the first or second call. So the duration on the follow-up calls, if no one picks up and you haven't talked to anyone, just keep calling, maybe call different times, different days. But if you're not leaving messages, I would just call again, the next day or a few days later. Unless does anybody else have any other thoughts on that? Like, so the question is like, if I call, no one's picking up, nothing's been confirmed. Like, when do I call again?
Actually, Jonathan, it's between talking to the PR. I text, I leave messages, I email, and then all of a sudden I'll get a hold of somebody, and we didn't set up a next time to call because there's 100 other things. It's a rush call. I put them in a follow-up. I call them up next week, the following week, and after a while, they're getting upset, and I'm like, well, they haven't even gotten their letter probably, but I'm trying to be first in.
Yeah. Well, I think it's case by case. You got to feel it out. I don't know if there's a magic formula. Does anyone have any method that they like to use? I know, again, I keep quoting Deborah because she's been with us for 8 years and she's successful. She does 4-to-1 ratio, 4 letters a call, and she doesn't send the next 4 until she's talked to them, right? So she knows what she's calling about, what she's saying in. Like if you've sent certain letters, or if you're in UPLC where we do the automated follow-up with ebooks and reports and stuff like that, why you're calling. You're calling, hey, I sent you this ebook. Hey, I sent you this report. Did you get it? I sent you whatever it is that you send. Like, I want to make sure you got it because it talks about this, talks about that. So you have a reason for calling, a reason for following up, right? But I get it, it's challenging. Like how like you want to make sure your call's adding value to their life. You're not pestering them. So that's the big challenge, right? So my thing is, like, when I used to cold call back in the days, I'd always make sure that I had something to ask that would stand out from everybody else, but also something to add that would make their lives a little bit easier. So when you call them, I'd say, hey, I want to make sure you got this report I sent you, or the letter I sent you, or did you know that the biggest mistakes most PRs make? I just want to make sure we can talk about that because I see that you're 30 days into filing. I work with a lot of PRs and I see a lot of mistakes they make. I just want to make sure you're in good hands. Things like that, you can kind of pique their interest a little bit and make sure that they want that piece of advice that you have for them. Unfortunately, the way it is today, most people respond better to FOMO, fear of missing out, or fear, than they do towards moving towards something they want. Most people, and this is statistically shown to be true, most people will take greater action moving away from pain than towards pleasure. So we'll go to greater lengths of avoiding things we don't want rather than taking action to go towards the things that we do want. Think about when was the last time you actually worked really hard going towards the goal, whether it's financial, relationship, or health, weight loss, whatever it is. If it's something we move towards that pleases us, then we're less likely to take action than moving away from something that pains us, right? So when you're making these calls, like, hey, I just want to make sure you understand, I've been doing this for a while, and there's just these mistakes that petitioners tend to make, and I want to just talk them through with you, make sure you're not going to make them. I'm not saying put the fear of God in them, but use what's out there. What statistics say that is people move away from pain rather than towards pleasure. So in other words, like when you call and say, hey, I can help you realize your dreams and sell the house, that doesn't really strike them as much as like, I don't want to make a mistake. You guys get the difference here?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Hello, Jonathan. This is Brian. Can you hear me?
Yes, Brian, go ahead. I got you.
Just wondered if I could ask a follow-up question about using a VA.
Sure, go ahead.
Could you talk a little bit about what VA can do? We're talking about overseas VA can do in terms of preparing mailers. So of course I haven't had anybody do that because of course the mail is going out here. But what can they do to prepare that for you if you had them?
Well, think about it this way. Here's what I would do, right? If you have a mailing house, or you have as simple as possible. Let's say you don't have a mailing house. As simple as possible, you got a printer on your desk that can print out letters, right? That can print out letters. And now you're like, okay, I got to do a mail merge. I got to find the leads. I got to scrub them. I got to mail merge together, put them on my letterhead, and I got to print them out. Well, all that stuff you don't have to do. You could send it to the Philippines. Like, here's a spreadsheet. These are the letters. Merge them together, organize them in the folder, get it back to me in my Dropbox. And when I open up my Dropbox tomorrow morning, I know like this is week 1, double click, open up all the letters, print it out on my printer. Now I take those, and then if you have someone in your office that can stuff those letters for you, you do that, or you do it yourself, you get an intern, whatever the case may be. If you don't want to stuff the letters, then you got to think about, okay, well, stuffing letters, do I have any teenagers in my family that can do this? Anyone staying at home? Yes, everyone's staying at home. Anyone that I could give this batch to that could just stuff the letters and put them in the mailer if you don't want to do it yourself. The next level up is to look at, well, I want to work with a mailing house. Mailing houses will do all this for you, and they'll come up with creative ways, with creative, envelopes, and they have different pricing structures and all that. And now your cost is going up, but you're now fully automated. Like Tim Hensley is looking in the chat, he's saying, I want to be fully automated. Well, if you want to be fully automated, fully automated is what's like working with a mailing house, having your templates up there, dropping your leads in, pushing a button, and they just mail everything out for you, right? And then you just do that every week. So a VA can help you prepare all of that and do all the data entry and do the research. Like on Tuesday, for those of you that were on the Tuesday call for CPRES class, week 2, we're talking about leads and how to find phone numbers. I showed all of you that were on there like how to find the phone numbers of leads that you're working with. But more importantly, the good, better, best, and outstanding result is pay someone to find the phone numbers for you that has a good reputation. So we found someone on Fiverr that could do that. So Brian, you can find people on Fiverr, on Upwork, on onlinejobs.ph. Those are the different opportunities. But before you go hiring, you have to be crystal clear in what it is that you're hiring for. The better you instruct them, the better results you get. Like any other systems, garbage in, garbage out. The classic mistake that I see people doing when they're trying to delegate out is they just do the dump and run. They dump it and they run away and they come back. It's like, why isn't anything working? Why didn't anything go out? And they're like, well, you haven't given me any instructions. So they're not the magic wand to solve all your problems. If you don't know how to sit down and actually think through how your systems work or think through what you want them to do, then the easiest thing to do is record yourself doing it and say, hey, do this. And now from this, create a SOP, standard operating procedure. And then you take that standard operating procedure and you give it to someone else. Like, is this clear to you? Can you do that based on what it says here? And then you can delegate all this out. If you're not the patient type that can sit down and write down bullet points and do all that, then just record yourself doing it and then send it off to someone here, do that. And you pay them $5 to $7 an hour. It's well worth your time. And now you have a system, you're beginning to have a system in place. Sorry, I get a little bit off track because this is my thing that I'm really passionate about.
If you're prospecting daily and you get 8 or 10 leads that you want to mail letters to, would you just recommend you do the same thing with a VA? You say, okay, these are the 8 or these are the 10. I need you to prepare these letters for me to
Yeah,
go.
I would. Like if you have a VA that says you give this VA 20 hours a week, you got to give this person something to do. So now again, it goes back to this is my weekly protocol. This is what I do. And also it holds you accountable. Like Clara was saying, she had her office manager, I think, hold her accountable, saying, show me a calendar. Now you have hired someone on your team that's waiting for instructions. And so Brian has got to have his whole week set up. He's got to block and tackle his time, and he's got to do what he's going to, because he knows like he's got someone waiting that he's paying 5 to 7, maybe $10 an hour somewhere in the world. That's just sitting and waiting. Like, okay, where are the follow-up letters I got to send out? Where are my prospecting letters? They can even make phone calls for you. They'll work your hours as well. Like I know Michael Everhart, he has a VA that just warms up the calls. They just call until they get someone on the phone. They pre-qualify them and they say, could we set up you an appointment with a probate specialist? If they say yes, then they create that appointment, and then he gets on the phone and now he's the probate specialist. Like he's like, I don't want to spend time going through all these phone calls. I'd rather just have someone else do it, and I can go out and think about other things to do for my business. So there's so many ways you can do this.
Thank you.
Hello, Jonathan.
Yes.
This is Yvonne. I've been attending for over a year and I have never said a word, but I took your advice and I just wanted to share with Bob that a VA does work. I have a partner and I was all ready to go, but my partner was concerned about security, like you. So we sat down and set up some rules for our VA before we even hired them. So we have 2 part-time VAs. One does all of the administrative work and the other one makes the phone calls. And we picked them based on their personality. The introvert seems to like to do the administrative work. And then our other assistant loves to be on the phone. I just started with them at the end of August, and I spent a lot more time than I thought I was going to have to, setting up the rules, the office rules, the hours, how we wanted to do the handoffs. But now we've come to a point to where it flows very well. I have them they report to their office every morning what they're going to do. And then at the end of their day, I only have them for 4 hours. At the end of their day, they report what they've done, but then they send me an extra report and we review it before they leave that day to make sure we're all on the same page. We, 2 weeks ago, added the Fiverr and we just got our first 100 back. And we just started with the emails and the calls on that one. So it's really too new to rate, but I'm really happy with what I've done because I like to write. And so what I was doing was I was writing, rewriting, and I wasn't, with my clients the way I needed to be. And since I brought them on, I've had enough time to get my mortgage license. And now I can tie that all together, being a real estate broker and having the mortgage part. So I really would encourage you, Bob, to give it a try. You can't see me, but I'll tell you, I'm in my 60s, so I am not technologically savvy. They can whip those letters up. They can send me things that I didn't even know existed. So I'm really happy with them. I really am. Thank you.
Oh, Yvonne, that's so great to hear. So Yvonne, I'm just curious, how many hours do you feel like you've gotten back in your week after you did this? So you started in August. Have you noticed like how many more hours you've gotten back to do other things on a weekly basis?
Yes. I would say I got about 8 hours a week back. And that's what allowed me to take the time to study for my mortgage license. And now I even have time to tie it all together. We meet every Friday. We call it a Friday huddle. And we talk about what worked and what didn't. What trouble are you having trying to reach the PRs? So we just do brainstorming on Friday afternoons to see, where we are in the cycle. But I'm very happy with it. You mentioned inheritance funding. Yep. I am now with inheritance funding, and they're going to let me know this afternoon about my first seller, whether or not they're going to qualify for, we're looking at 30,000 just to spruce up. It's a duplex. And we wanted to spruce up the top unit. The buyer can move in and fix up the bottom unit as they please.
That's creative. I
So,
like it.
thank you. I really appreciate the referrals. They're working.
Awesome. Good. That's so good to hear. I'm so happy to hear these things, that things are working out.
Sorry, are your VAs overseas, and are they making phone calls for you, based on your time zone?
Yes, they are in the Philippines, and with them doing it during our time zone, which would be from 11 to 3, I think their time, they're a day ahead, and they start at 2 in the morning in order to do that.
Yeah. Actually, right when they come home from the clubs, that's when they start hitting the phone hard,
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it's time for one more question from Paul Heller. He's asking, let's see here. Where do you go? How do you respond to a petitioner who says they're letting it go to foreclosure? Is it worth discussing short sale, and how would that benefit them? All right, so that's a really great question. Mike and I, we used to do short sales in probate back when short sales and foreclosures were hot. We did probate short sales, and they work really well, Paul. One of the things you wanna urge them to do is a short sale, and then you wanna get in touch with the bank, the mortgage holder, because a lot of times what the petitioner doesn't understand, if the property is upside down, what's going to happen is that they think that it's not worth anything and nothing's going to happen. And especially if they're a beneficiary and they're supposed to be getting paid out of this, and let's say the home is worth, $500,000, but the loan is 600,000. I'm just using big numbers. What needs to happen is that the home needs to get sold. If they let it go into, let's say, foreclosure, or if there's tax issues, the more issues there are, the more opportunities to get a good deal done, right? And also as an agent, you benefit anyways. If you get the listing, you do a short sale, and if you have a preferred short sale person that can help you, then I would recommend you go that route, because the banks don't want to get tied up in the probate process. All you have to do is tell the banks, look, this is going through probate. We need to work something out before this gets really hairy, and before everybody else gets a piece of it, and other creditors and blah, blah, blah. So let's just get this done. It's 500,000. I have a buyer right now at 500,000. Can we get it done ASAP, right? So that's how fast we used to do it back in 2009, 10, and 11, when the foreclosure market was really hot. I don't know that the foreclosure market is that hot right now because, I just don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think so. So Paul, I highly, highly recommend it, because now the seller is not so much the petitioner, it's really the bank that wants to move on this really quick, and you just need a petitioner to sign off. So that's what I would recommend.
And there is a timeline that he'll need to find out how long before they even give the notice to sale, who they have reported it to.
Yeah.
Because they have until 5 days before the sale, they can do something about it. But up to that, there's no way. And he may be able to get an extension.
Yeah.
On the on the foreclosure, and give you enough time to sell. Yeah.
I'm a little bit rusty on the foreclosure processes, but I know it works, and I know Mike and I we've done some together, and we really enjoyed it, and the agent benefited too, because a lot of times it's investors that buy it out of a short sale, and agents, they have their own investor clients. They go, look, I could turn this around in 2 days. Like, if you give me the listing, I'll have it sold by tomorrow, and then the investor will come back and list it with the agent, right? So that's the type of relationship you're looking with with investors. All right, let me just go through the list here. Linda's asking, what are your rules? I'd love to have a list. Linda, I don't know what rules you're talking about. You want to unmute yourself, and that'll be our last question for today.
Yeah, it's the rules that the gal was talking about on her virtual assistant.
Oh, Yvonne's rules. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yvonne, if you're open to it, you can put your email address down in the chat, and then people that want to know more about this, they can email. Is that okay? Or
sure.
Is that okay?
It's my initials. It's YG Johnson Holmes @gmail. And
YG
I'll
Johnson
Holmes at Gmail.
Okay, let me put that in the chat. YG Johnson Holmes at Gmail. Can you just verify that in the chat, please? Can you look at that, Yvonne?
That's it.
All right. So guys, if you have any questions, reach out to Yvonne, and she is going to be gracious enough to share with you what she's discovered. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Yvonne. I appreciate that.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for showing up today. I really enjoyed it. As always, went a little bit over time. This is supposed to last 30 minutes. Have a wonderful weekend. For those of you that are doing open houses, enjoy those. Until then, be well, stay safe, and wash those hands. Bye, guys.
What are open houses?
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Virtual.